The note trembled in Eliza Montgomery's manicured hands. 7 words that shattered the careful disguise she'd maintained for months. I know who you are. Please don't leave. If you're feeling that chill down your spine already, hit that like button and subscribe to catch more incredible stories of fate, connection, and second chances that remind us how unexpectedly life can change in a single moment. Eliza Montgomery had perfected the art of invisibility despite being one of the most powerful women in America. At 34, she controlled Montgomery Industries, a technology empire worth billions, yet she moved through life behind a carefully constructed wall of privacy. Business magazines called her the Ghost CEO, the woman who transformed industries without ever showing her face in public. Tonight, she sat alone in a corner booth of the Capitol Grill, a mid-range steakhouse in downtown Chicago. She wore no designer labels, just simple jeans and a navy sweater, her normally sleek blonde hair tucked under a baseball cap. This was her Friday ritual, escaping her penthouse to eat among ordinary people, pretending to be one of them. Good evening, ma'am. My name is Jack, and I'll be taking care of you tonight. She glanced up briefly at the waiter, mid-30s, kind eyes with smile lines, a 5 o'clock shadow that suggested he'd been working since early morning. His uniform was impeccably pressed despite the late hour. Just the filet, medium rare. Asparagus on the side. Sparkling water, no ice, she said, closing the menu without making eye contact, a habit formed from years of avoiding recognition. Excellent choice, Jack said with genuine warmth that seemed out of place for someone working their 10th hour of a shift. Anything to start? The burrata is exceptional tonight. Something in his voice made her look up again. There was no flicker of recognition in his eyes, just professional kindness. No, thank you. Just the steak. As Jack walked away, Eliza exhaled. These moments were her only taste of normalcy, sitting in restaurants where nobody expected anything from her, where she wasn't Eliza Montgomery, the woman who had quadrupled her father's fortune after his death, the woman who made decisions that affected thousands of jobs, the woman whose romantic life was speculated about in gossip columns despite her never having given a single interview. She watched Jack move between tables, his easy manner with customers suggesting a natural people person. At a nearby table, he knelt down to a young girl, maybe 7 or 8, who was showing him a drawing. He studied it with exaggerated seriousness before giving her a high five that made the child beam with pride. When he returned with Eliza's sparkling water, she found herself asking, "Your daughter?" Surprise flickered across his face. That obvious, huh? Yeah, that's Lily. My sister works in the kitchen, so Lily hangs out here after school sometimes. The manager's cool about it. She's talented, Eliza said, nodding toward the drawing the girl was now showing her parents. She's everything, Jack replied simply, with a smile that transformed his tired face. Enjoy your water. Your steak will be out shortly. As he walked away, Eliza felt an unfamiliar pang. In her world of boardrooms and billion-dollar decisions, people spoke to her with careful deference or naked ambition. Jack's simple pride in his daughter felt refreshingly real. When her steak arrived, it was perfect, exactly medium rare, the asparagus crisp. Jack checked on her once, efficiently but not intrusively. Eliza ate slowly, savoring both the meal and the anonymity. Around her, couples laughed, families celebrated, friends caught up. Normal life unfolding while she observed from the periphery. When she finished, Jack appeared with the check. Was everything to your satisfaction? It was excellent, thank you, she said, handing him her credit card, not her usual black card that would immediately identify her, but a regular card under her middle name, Elizabeth James. He returned minutes later with the receipt. Have a wonderful evening, Ms. James. As Eliza signed the bill, leaving her customary generous tip, she noticed a folded piece of paper beneath the leather folder. Probably an advertisement for the restaurant's rewards program, she thought. She slipped it into her pocket without looking and prepared to leave. Outside, the Chicago wind whipped around her as she waited for her rideshare. She pulled out her phone and the folded note fell onto the sidewalk. Picking it up, she opened it casually, then froze. I know who you are. Please don't leave. 7 words that sent ice through her veins. Her carefully constructed anonymity shattered. Her hand instinctively reached for her phone to call her security team, when she heard footsteps behind her. Ms. Montgomery. She turned to find Jack, now wearing a coat over his uniform, his expression serious. How did you know? She demanded, her voice low but sharp. My daughter, he said simply. Lily doesn't just draw pictures. She draws people she sees in magazines. She has one of you on her bedroom wall, from that Forbes cover last year. The only one you ever did. Eliza remembered it, a moment of weakness after winning Businesswoman of the Year. The only public photo of her that existed. What do you want? Her voice was steel now, the voice that commanded boardrooms. Jack looked genuinely confused. Want? Nothing. I just... He ran a hand through his hair. Look, I've served you every Friday for the past 3 months. You always sit in the corner, always order the same thing, always alone. Today was the first time you've ever asked me anything personal. Eliza stared at him, processing his words. You've known who I am for 3 months. He nodded. I didn't say anything because it seemed important to you to be anonymous. I respected that. Then why tonight? Why the note? Jack looked down at his worn shoes, then back at her with unexpected directness. Because today you asked about Lily. And I thought maybe you were lonely too. The simplicity of his observation struck her like a physical blow. Lonely. Such a small word for the vast emptiness of her life. I'm a single dad working 2 jobs, Jack continued. Lily's mom left when she was 2. I know what it's like to sit across from an empty chair every night. Eliza felt exposed in a way that had nothing to do with her identity being discovered. I should go, she said, stepping back. Of course, Jack nodded, respecting her boundary. But if you come back next Friday, I'll make sure you get the corner booth. He hesitated, then added, and maybe you could tell me if you liked the burrata, if you decide to try it. Her rideshare pulled up to the curb. Eliza paused, 1 foot already in the car. Why would you care if I come back? Jack's answer was simple. Because everyone deserves a place where they can be seen for who they really are. As she slid into the back seat, Eliza felt something crack in the careful armor she'd built around herself. The car pulled away, leaving Jack standing on the sidewalk, a solitary figure growing smaller in the rear window. For the first time in years, Eliza Montgomery couldn't focus on work. The week crawled by as Jack's words echoed in her mind. Everyone deserves a place where they can be seen. When was the last time anyone had truly seen her? Not Eliza Montgomery the billionaire, not the CEO, not the heiress, just her. Friday arrived with a strange anticipation she hadn't felt in years. At 7 p.m., she found herself walking into the Capitol Grill again, this time without a baseball cap. The hostess began to lead her to a table, but Jack appeared, nodding to his colleague. Your usual table is ready, Ms. James, he said, using her alias with a small smile that acknowledged their shared secret. The corner booth awaited, already set with sparkling water, no ice. As she sat down, she noticed a small folded card beside her napkin. Inside was a childish drawing of a woman with blonde hair sitting at a restaurant table. At the bottom, in crayon, welcome back. From Lily. When Jack approached, Eliza surprised herself by saying, I think I'll try the burrata tonight. His smile was worth the deviation from her routine. Excellent choice. Throughout the meal, Jack was professional but warmer than before. He told her that Lily was with her aunt in the kitchen, helping to fold napkins for extra allowance money. Eliza found herself sharing small, inconsequential details about her week, a book she'd read, a documentary she'd watched. Nothing about Montgomery Industries or billion-dollar acquisitions, just normal conversation. When she finished her meal, Jack brought the check with another note. Lily would like to meet you, if that's okay. Minutes later, a small girl with her father's kind eyes approached the table cautiously, clutching a drawing. Jack stood a respectful distance behind her. "Are you the lady from my daddy's restaurant?" Lily asked. Eliza nodded, finding herself smiling genuinely. "I am. I loved your drawing." Lily beamed. "I made you another one." She slid the paper across the table. It was a drawing of three people, a tall man, a small girl, and a blonde woman, standing in front of what appeared to be a park bench. "That's Daddy, that's me, and that's you," Lily explained. "Daddy says you eat alone every Friday, but nobody should eat alone all the time. So maybe sometime you could come to the park with us instead? Daddy makes really good sandwiches." Eliza looked up at Jack, who appeared mortified. "Lily, remember what we talked about? Ms. James is very busy." "Actually," Eliza interrupted, surprising herself, "I'd like that very much." That Sunday afternoon found Eliza sitting on a park bench beside Jack, watching Lily feed ducks at the pond's edge. She wore jeans and a simple sweater, not as a disguise this time, but because it was comfortable. "I'm sorry about Lily's ambush," Jack said. "Kids have no filter." "It's refreshing," Eliza admitted. "In my world, everyone calculates every word." "And what world is that, exactly?" Jack asked. "I mean, I know who you are, but I don't really know what you do, beyond the headlines." For the first time in years, Eliza found herself explaining her work to someone who wasn't trying to invest in it, acquire it, or compete with it. Jack listened with genuine interest as she described Montgomery Industries' focus on sustainable technology. "So that's why you looked so sad that first night," Jack observed when she finished. "What do you mean?" "You mentioned your company had just finished laying off a division that wasn't performing. 2,000 jobs. You said it was necessary, but I could tell it bothered you." Eliza stared at him. "I never told you that. 3 months ago. Your second visit. You were on your phone before I approached the table. I overheard." She remembered that day, a brutal board meeting where she'd fought to save jobs but ultimately had to make the cut to keep the company viable. She'd come to the restaurant afterward, seeking anonymity while she processed the weight of her decision. "You remember that?" Jack shrugged. "I remember most things about you." The simple honesty of his statement hung between them. Before Eliza could respond, Lily came running back, demanding her father's attention for an emergency duck situation that required his expertise. As Jack walked to the pond with his daughter, Eliza watched them together, his patient explanations, Lily's delighted laughter. For the first time in years, she felt a longing for something her billions couldn't buy: connection. Over the following weeks, a strange new pattern emerged in Eliza Montgomery's carefully structured life. Fridays at the Capitol Grill became the highlight of her week, followed by Sunday afternoons in the park with Jack and Lily. She found herself sharing more of herself with them than she had with anyone since her father died. Jack never asked for anything, not money, not connections, not favors. He seemed content simply to know her. One Friday, when she asked why he worked 2 jobs, he explained that Lily had been diagnosed with a heart condition as a toddler. The medical bills had been substantial, even with insurance. "But she's okay now?" Eliza asked, concerned. "She needs another procedure next year," Jack admitted. "But we'll figure it out. We always do." Eliza wanted to offer to pay for it immediately but sensed that would cross a boundary. Instead, she began researching children's cardiac specialists, making mental notes. On a rainy Sunday when the park wasn't an option, Jack invited her to their apartment for the first time, a modest 2-bedroom in a working-class neighborhood. Lily proudly showed Eliza her room, walls covered with drawings, including several of Ms. Eliza, as she now called her. "This is my favorite," Lily said, pointing to a drawing of the three of them holding hands. "Mine too," Eliza said softly. Later, after Lily went to bed, Jack and Eliza sat on his worn couch, talking quietly over cups of tea. For the first time, he asked about her family. "It's just me," she said. "My mother died when I was young. My father raised me, groomed me to take over the company. He died 6 years ago." "I'm sorry," Jack said. "You must miss him." "Every day," she admitted. "He was brilliant, demanding, but he was my anchor. When he died, I just focused on the company. It was easier than dealing with the emptiness." Jack nodded. "After Lily's mom left, I did the same thing with work. It's easier to exhaust yourself than to face the quiet." In that moment, sitting in his modest apartment with the sound of rain against the windows, Eliza felt more understood than she had in years. "Jack," she said carefully, "can I ask you something?" "Anything." "Why me? You must see hundreds of customers every week. Why did you reach out to me?" He considered her question seriously. "Honestly? Because you looked as lonely as I felt. And because you always left the biggest tips." He smiled at the last part, but his eyes remained serious. "The first time you came in, you were so careful not to be noticed. But I noticed how you watched the families around you. How you lingered over your meal just to stay in that atmosphere. I recognized that hunger for connection because I've felt it too." His honesty disarmed her. In her world of corporate maneuvering, such straightforward emotion was foreign. "I should go," she said, suddenly feeling vulnerable. Jack walked her to the door. "Eliza," he said, using her real name for the first time, "thank you for coming today. It meant a lot to Lily." "And to you?" she found herself asking. His answer was to lean forward slowly, giving her every chance to step away, and kiss her gently. When they separated, his eyes searched hers. "Does that answer your question?" As autumn turned to winter, Eliza found herself living a double life. By day, she was still the formidable CEO of Montgomery Industries, making billion-dollar decisions. But her evenings and weekends increasingly belonged to Jack and Lily. She kept their relationship private, knowing the media would turn Jack's life upside down if they discovered them. For his part, Jack never asked about her wealth or position, seeming content with the woman who showed up at his door with takeout and board games. One snowy December evening, as they decorated Jack's modest Christmas tree while Lily slept, Eliza realized she was happy, truly happy, for the first time in years. "Jack," she said suddenly, "I want to pay for Lily's procedure." He stiffened, the ornament in his hand forgotten. "Eliza." "Please," she interrupted. "Let me do this. Not because I'm trying to show off my money, but because I care about her. About both of you." Jack set down the ornament carefully. "I've never wanted your money, Eliza. You know that, right?" "I know," she said softly. "That's why I want to give it. Because you've never asked for anything except my time." He was quiet for a long moment. "I've been saving," he finally said. "Working double shifts, putting away every extra dollar." "I know you have," she said. "And that's why I'm asking. Let me help the way I can, while you help her the way only you can, by being her father." Jack looked at the small pile of presents under the tree, modest gifts he'd carefully budgeted for. Then he looked at Eliza, this woman who could buy anything but had somehow found value in their simple life together. "Okay," he said finally. "For Lily. But I need you to understand something. This doesn't change anything between us. I'm still just a waiter, and I'm okay with that." Eliza touched his face gently. "You've never been just anything to me." The new year brought changes neither of them had anticipated. A paparazzo finally caught Eliza leaving Jack's apartment one morning, and by afternoon, there